We're just a couple hours away from AEW Dynasty, and it looks like there's already some major changes. So we're going to talk about that, plus some of the major returns that AEW is planning, which, by the way, these returns are pretty damn big. But the problem is their exit from AEW television was such an odd exit. We need answers, and I don't know if we're going to be getting those. And that's something that we're definitely going to tackle in today's video. And we got to talk about another major blow to AEW. Happy Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. It is Dynasty Day. Let's get right into it. Okay, so I want to actually kick things off with Orange Cassidy. This one was really interesting to me because there was some whispers of this going around. There's really been no official announcement from AEW. However, there has been several reports internally from AEW that suggest Orange Cassidy is going to be injured and out for a significant amount of time. Basically, the word behind the scenes is that Cassidy could be out for a long time. With AEW already working to make major plans and changes and stuff like that, it's really tough when AEW gets hit with the injury bug because, as you guys know, Tony Khan has suffered from this problem before where they have a storyline in play, ready to go, ready to execute. Somebody gets injured, and then you really just have to call an audible. That's the same situation here with Orange Cassidy. The seriousness of this injury is really interesting because a lot of people believe that he may actually need surgery. And according to Fightful Select and their sources, basically it's expected that Orange Cassidy will be expected to be out of action for quite some time, and it might be a long road to recovery. Now, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. If you watch my early coverage of AEW and Orange Cassidy, this was not somebody I was high up on. This was not somebody I was a fan of. I really believed for a long time that Orange Cassidy was kind of like a joke gimmick, and I just couldn't take it serious. And then through so many years of watching this guy, and you guys may have noticed a shift a couple of years ago, but I really started to respect him as a talent because even though I didn't really care for the gimmick and I thought it was stupid, I feel like this guy is so good that the gimmick is just something he's good at. He could do much more than this gimmick, and I've really found a lot of respect for him as a talent. And for me, the way that I kind of look at this is anytime somebody gets injured, it's always sad, right? Like I talk about this often. You don't want to hear about anybody getting injured. You don't want to hear stories of people getting injured. You don't want to see people getting injured. You also don't want it to be somebody who is massively over. And Orange Cassidy is in a weird situation with AEW because he is massively over, and they definitely book him. And I do think they do a good job of booking him and how they position him. However, it just seems like with Orange Cassidy, because of how over he is, maybe you would expect a little bit more. Me personally, I've become a really big fan of the dude. I'm not going to complain at all. I hope he comes back and he's ready to go. It just really sucks to hear that this injury has definitely screwed him over. And that's, really unfortunate.
Now would be the best time to remind you that we have a major goal to hit 100,000 subscribers. Over 40% of the viewers who watch this channel are not subscribed. Please click subscribe if you enjoy staying educated on everything with wrestling news.
All right, guys, as I said, it is Dynasty Day, and, well, we know that Jay White is injured, but do we know to the extent of what's really going on here? Because it appears that Jay White's injury has completely shifted AEW Dynasty. So if you guys didn't know, Jay White is injured. He's no longer in the Owen Cup tournament, and there was talks behind the scenes that AEW was prepared and ready to give Jay White a serious push. The original plan was for Dynasty being Jay White versus Will Ospreay. We don't know if Will Ospreay was going to win or lose. We can speculate all we want, but there's actually been no confirmation that Will Ospreay would have won the match. That was the original plan. Then Jay White, as you guys know, he suffered that hand injury. He's been replaced in the tournament by Kevin Knight, and now he's pulled out of the tournament completely. This has really caused AEW to pivot in a way that I don't think they were expecting. There are some rumors out there, and I want to emphasize this. These are rumors, but there were some rumors at some point that maybe Jay White would have been slated to win the entire tournament. Do I think that's true? No, I do not. But, of course, with AEW catching momentum, maybe that is true, right? I don't think that's the case, but those are the rumors. Fightful Select has not confirmed any of that. They only have confirmed that this caused AEW to make a pivot on the storyline. And as you guys know, we saw with Kevin Knight, basically everything Kevin Knight is doing on TV is kind of like a fill-in / audible because of the fact that Jay White is injured. So not only was this a big change for Dynasty, but this may have actually ultimately changed everything for AEW moving forward, because if Jay White, let's just say, were to win the tournament, that would have obviously been a massive, massive deal. I want this guy healthy, man. 2 years in a row missing the Owen Cup. Like, I'm not thrilled about the fact that Jay White gets hurt. I know this has gone viral a couple of times, but I have been very vocal about Jay White being booked incredibly well under WWE, and I was really, I wouldn't say mad, because nothing makes me mad about wrestling, but I was very, very disappointed when he signed with AEW, and then I saw AEW didn't really do anything with him of special, like of something that was special, you know? So to me, I looked at this as a situation where, oh, cool, Jay White is finally getting a serious push. Now the injury has apparently got in the way of that. Who knows? We don't know, but it's definitely something worth talking about, and we'll see what happens next. And that leads us to our final topic, ladies and gentlemen, the Young Bucks. They are slated to return, and it appears that the Young Bucks have been trying to get back on AEW television. A lot of people internally also have been expecting them back within the TV program. However, that has not happened. Ahead of tonight's AEW Dynasty, Fightful Select has reported that there has been internal pitches from the Young Bucks in recent months. Many people have obviously been waiting for them to come back. Also, in addition to that, not only are they the EVPs of the company, but they are active talents, and they really haven't been around backstage. It's actually been said that the EVPs don't have as much power as they once did, but they still do have their titles, and they still are actively the EVPs. So what is really going on with the Young Bucks, right? Now, as I suggested in the beginning of today's video, and I do really want to make this part clear, the Young Bucks came into television, came into AEW, they did this elite takeover storyline with Okada, and that was miserable. Like, it failed. AEW completely dropped it. Young Bucks went away from television. Kenny Omega returned to TV, and then Okada and Kenny never went back to fighting. It was a really, really strange situation, and AEW did that, I'm guessing, because of the Death Rider storyline. But the Young Bucks are needed. You know, they are needed absolutely on television. I don't know why a lot of you guys don't like them. I don't understand why social media tends to hate these guys. I think they are incredibly talented. I think they are more than just flippy guys who can wrestle. I think they are it's very imperative that they are a top babyface act in AEW. They are like Hangman Page, like I often say, they are like the bloodline of this company. They are the reason why this company exists. They should come back and be baby faces. Now, will they come back at AEW Dynasty? I don't know. Maybe they set up a program with the Hurt Syndicate. You never really know at this stage. But they are coming back. It is needed. It is needed so bad, man. And I just really want to see the tag team division get back to where it should be. So we'll see how this all pans out. Who really knows? But ladies and gentlemen, that is the Ango Show.